Vitor Pereira has just been appointed the Nottingham Forest manager. Their fourth of the season. That's just that. Wow. 4 managers. And it's only February. And also Vitor Pereira's second job of the season. Of course, he was sacked by Wolves earlier on. A lot of people say he wasn't actually a success at Wolves, but when you dive deeper, you will find out he did some pretty good stuff. Now, does the Wolves stint make him a bad manager, a bad coach? Absolutely not. It felt like he had some shackles on, especially this season, as he wasn't backed by the board properly. He wasn't allowed to replace the players that he did lose with better players, with players with similar output, as I'll explain in a minute. But here is why Vitor Pereira will be a massive success at Nottingham Forest. Going to the negative side of Vitor Pereira's spell under Wolves, I mean, yes, they had 0 wins in 25-26 under Vitor Pereira. Now you look at the summer window, yes, they spent some money, yes, they bought in a few players, and yes, they did try to spend some of the 60 mil that they got for Matheus Cunha, but it was on players that weren't ready for the physicality, for the demand of the Premier League, such as a player like Fer Lopez. I mean, you can see his talent is absolutely there, but he's so raw. But the most criminal one was replacing Cunha with players like John Arias, who has been below par and he's been shipped out already, and also Arakadare. I mean, I rate Arakadare, but he's not that direct replacement for Matheus Cunha. And I think when Wolves go down, Arakadare has to stay in the Premier League. I, for one, at Brighton, would do anything to have him. But again, going back to Cunha, the biggest problem with selling him and not replacing him was his output. It was always going to be an issue for a team like Wolves, where his output was so influential and so decisive in games sometimes. Vitor Pereira just needed trust and he needed backing at Wolves, and of course, that's just not something you're going to get at Wolves with the ownership. So really, for that stint not ending as well as it should have, you can really look at the ownership there. Selling their best players and not replacing them. Ait Nouri is another one. Already, I think Vitor Pereira is a much better fit for Forest squad. He will likely play a 3-4-2-1, a formation which he used at Wolves and got some really good results out of it. I think having a keeper such as Ortega as well is an asset which he didn't have at Wolves, where they had Sarr, where they had Johnson, where they're very limited with their distribution. This back three is going to be a lot of fun. I think you're going to have Murillo on the left and a wide centre-back position. It allows him to progress the ball both with carries, both with passes, and just give him a bit more freedom. You'll have more of a destroyer such as Milenkovic. I mean, he's 6'5" and Serbian. He's a brick wall. He's just built of bricks. That's all we need to say. And having a player like this in any system is a massive advantage, especially in the Premier League. I think on the right you'll probably have either Jair Cunha or Savona. I don't rate Marato at all. I think he's pants. He's also left-footed, which There's just no way he's getting in over Murillo in that left centre-back spot. So it'll either be Jair Cunha or Nicola Savona. I think Savona's okay. I think there's been a bit of misplatforming, misprofiling. I think Savona's skill set is very, very good for that right centre-back role, because I don't quite think he's a right wing-back as such, where you have to be high and wide, especially in a 3-4-2-1. He's 6'4", pretty defensively sound in wide areas as well. Onto wing-back, and honestly, I think right wing-back is Dan Ndoye. It's a position he's played before, and also he hasn't really been impressing on the wing for Nottingham Forest so far this season, so I think a new role and just a bit more trust can really help him a lot. Nico Williams can cover either side, as well as Olarena. Luca Netz is their only left-footed wing-back, so I do expect him to get good minutes off the left. Now, midfield is the most exciting part for me, both the 2 centre mids and also the 2 attacking mids. At Wolves, Vitor Pereira preferred smaller, more technically sound, good ground coverers who are very intense in the press and winning the ball back, forcing turnovers, such as João Gomes and Andre as well. I think we're about to see a whole different level of Elliot Anderson. He ticks all of these boxes. He's better in and out of possession than the 2 midfielders listed, and we all know by now of his quality, but he also has an excellent engine, and for such a high intensity system and more of a higher press, it's perfect. It is a match made in heaven. I don't think Sangare and Yates as well, they're not ideal profiles for Vitor Pereira's system, so if Vitor does stay longer, I do expect a new centre mid to come in. Gibbs White as well, he's quite similar to Anderson in many ways. His intensity on and off the ball, he's going to be platformed so well. I'd like to see James McCarthy and Amari Hutchinson used on the other side. I think McCarthy in particular, he's been underutilised and underused, and I mean, he hasn't exactly been ripping up trees for Forest. No pun intended, I promise. And the problem with this as well, does Callum Hudson-Odoi get a place in this team? Because his major strength is starting out wide and cutting in, and that's pretty much all he does. Yet he's very, very effective at it. I think Lorenzo Luca will be very fun in this system because he's a similar profile to Strand Larsen, and when Vitor Pereira first came in at Wolves, Strand Larsen was bagging a lot of goals. So to say the least, I think it was a great fit, and and this will be a very, very fun watch for Forest fans, for neutrals. They will want to press high, they'll want to be aggressive and front-footed, and it's football that the fans can really get behind. They will try to create a lot of chaotic moments with a lot of high turnovers and transitions. I think Forest squad has a much higher ceiling, but also a better floor and a much higher physical floor as well, which is of course something Vitor Pereira needs. He loves players that just eat up ground, and there's plenty of these kind of players in the Forest squad. I think Forest will absolutely bottom up the table, will get out of a relegation battle which they're in at the moment, and especially if Vitor Pereira can get his idea across quickly. Now, will Forest avoid the drop? I think absolutely they're going to be a lot of fun to watch, but the downside is Brighton will likely get dragged into a relegation battle. But not only that, Vitor Pereira also has now the experience to escape this kind of situation. I think when you're looking at a team in Nottingham Forest position currently, his first message just has to be positive and has to be, look, can we try and finish mid-table by the end of the season, because they've absolutely got the squad for it. Like, subscribe, share and comment down below, where do you think Nottingham Forest are going to finish in the table this season?